Hello, my lovely, lovely humans. I'm FCA, and today we are going to be doing another makeup mystery inspired tutorial. Now, instead of doing a character recreation like I did last week, you can click that up in the corner. I would point, but I always get it wrong. This tutorial is going to be vibe inspired. So what do we think of when we think of the color of mystery? Not my nails. We think Beauty and the Beast when we think my nails. But when I think of the word mystery, I think the color that comes to my mind the most is purple. I think of that color also with the color of potions and maybe even magic. But if we think film noir, sometimes there's often a purple hue about things. And I don't know, there's just something about the color purple, not a vibrant purple, but more of a muted purple, maybe more of like a deep lavender. Yes, you may have noticed I do have some glitter and stuff on. I was wearing makeup earlier and I wiped most of it off. I say most of it because you might still be able to see the difference between my neck and my chest, but that's what happened. And then I also think of the color gray and just a hint of black. I think black is more black accent. But when I think of mysteries, I'm thinking, again, noirs. Of course, we have like murder mysteries, grand thefts. See if we can try to capture this in a look, excusing any sparkles that are already left over on me. Because I'm not 100% sure, I just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff that I thought might fit and put it next to me. I pulled the hoard over to me. And I think we're going to start with eyes today. So we're going to go with some Milani eyeshadow primer. Just use whatever primer you have on hand. And I love tutorials like this that really let you kind of have a little bit of guidance, but it also can turn into whatever you want. You can replace colors. So using the Festival palette, just make sure recording, we are going to go in with this light brown color. This is called Campground. And we're just going to dip in there. I'm not sponsored by Profusion. I've just had a lot of their stuff lately. This is the Profusion blending brush. It's their fat poofy brush. And we're just going to pop this into the crease. Because when we put darker colors down, especially if you have maturing eyes like myself, being in the mid-30s, we want to make sure things go on nice and smooth. And people often think that just because you're aging, that means you can't do fun makeup. I mean, I guess it depends on what your job restrictions are, really. But I'm just going to have that in the crease. And now I'm going to pop on to the other side. I'm going to be using that slightly brown matte gray. It's very much a medium gray. It's not silver. It's not bright. But it does have that little hint of brown. And it's from the Wet n Wild Winnie the Pooh palette. The palette's name is officially still here. But none of these shadows have names. But the bottom, if you're looking at it, it'd be the bottom right. And I'm just going to use that same Profusion brush in the crease. I'm going to start on the outer corner, and I really just want to cover where I put that campground brown. When you have murky colors like this, it's better to go in slowly, doing a little bit at a time. I have folded lids, so when I close my eyes, I have a lot of space, but then there's a literal fold over. If you have those kind of lids, just take your color up a wee bit higher. And of course, any time during an eye look, if you're like, oh, I don't like how far out I went, or actually, I don't like whatever this is, you can always take it off. It's makeup. It's not permanent once it touches your face. Purple. So I'm going to be using the Morphe M167 flat brush, just so I can get a really strong concentration of that purple color, which is called Shell. I'll tell you what, lavender is not the color I think of when I think of Shell. Having this nice stiff curve to the top of this helps you press into your crease with that color, so it can help give that more of a blend so that that color really does get placed there. I'm doing more of a pat, so more of a tapping motion rather than a sweeping motion. I'm not putting anything more on that Profusion buffer brush we were using, but I'm just going to go back over my crease slightly just to make sure that we have a good blend going on, and to make sure that the murkiness, the shadowy smokiness is still there. All right, what do we think? Are we thinking mystery? We need a little bit of depth, just a little bit of black, perhaps, but not too much. I also think we need to come underneath the eye a little bit. The mystery is how to keep your stuff straight when you just decided to bring over the pile hoard. So let's go in with a liner brush and that brown gray, and we're just gonna go, always put the, wherever you want the main bulk of your color to be, because the most color is going to be on your tool, wherever you want to place that. So if you want the most color to be in the middle, start in the middle. For this little liner, I want to start at this bottom corner and drag in. Now I'm going to take a pencil brush, also from Profusion. You can get them in a pack at Walmart. And in my palettes that I brought over, there's either no black in the Wet n Wild palette. In the other two palettes, the black is shimmery, and I don't really want to go for that, so I have Bulletproof from Sugarpill. And you just need a teeny tiny bit. This is a really intense black. And we just want this right on the outer V. Slight, because we want that intensity out here. Because I want to keep it smoky up here. Taking what was ever left on the brush and brought it a little more the underneath here. That way we have that hint of grunginess. I was testing a little spot of white right here, and I was like, oh no, I don't want that. But I don't want this to be completely unshadowed. I don't know. So we're just going to go in with a mixture of these two peachy colors, or whatever would act as a nude for your skin tone. Pale orange, or just a light orange. Now, of course, we're not ready to go out and solve a mystery looking like this. We've got to finish off. So I think that if I were to use a liquid liner on the, hold on a minute, got a little dusty there, would be too intense to go across the line with a liquid liner. So let's get our liner brush again and our Bulletproof. Now, I did say that Bulletproof is an intense black, and it is, and it's just one of those colors, you just got to use controlled and carefully. So to use this as a liner, I'm going to start in the second half of the lid and pull back. And when you're doing a liner, you don't have to make one continuous line. And you don't have to start from one corner to the other. But this way, I can control how much depth there is in the inner corner. So now we have a liner that's not too overpowering to our purple. And because we already used that same color in the outer corner, that connection is very seamless. I do think we're looking a little underbalanced because we brought color underneath the eye. So I'm going to take a black liner, and this is the L'Oreal Carbon liner. And I'm just going to go over that lightly. So I've decided that I do not want to be glowy, because glowy doesn't go off as being mysterious to me. We did have more of a glowy look when we were doing Miss Fisher, but we are going to give ourselves a little bit of coverage with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. Maybe. Is it concealing something from the detective? Because, shock, we're the villains? There's nothing wrong with being the villain. We're all a villain in somebody's story, right? There was a girl we used to work with who did not like me, and she reported me for a bunch of stuff that I did not actually do. Like, she told the team lead that I had sent her on a wild goose chase when I really told her to get some more tape. But you know what she's telling her friends and family? How horrible I was and how I ran her off, and they're just thinking that I am the worst thing ever. So, there's always a villain story that you got. Field primer from Topicals, the Active Scar Primer. For those of you who don't know, I did go on quite the hurting myself adventure. Did some at-home popping and extractions that did not work in my favor. So we're just gonna get this on there to help fill in any holes, because I did make myself some of those. And of course get any fine lines, etc. nice and smooth. And then for a good gripping and redness corrector, I have the Glass Correct in the green color. I also love this in the yellow one, the brightening glass one, but I can't find it anywhere anymore. Suppose I could look on Amazon, but I did decide to go with my L'Oreal Infallible 32-Hour Foundation with SPF 25. I'm in the shade 440, which I believe is also called I think it's their neutral beige. Where'd the foundation brush go? Oh, there it is. I'm using an e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush, which isn't so flawless. Actually, some of the paint came off in the last cleaning, and it's unfortunate because it's gonna need cleaned again. So here we go, and again, just gonna be plotting this in areas I need it the most, and then going into our blend. I'm gonna blend where I wiped off down here, so that I'm no longer two colors. When I bought this, I did get it in a shade that was actually slightly too dark for me, so that it would work better going into summer. I like watching the faces I make as I put on foundation. Since the foundation is on, we're going to go in with currently the only face powder I have. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Powder in Soft Pink. I would kind of want to go for I didn't grab a powder puff. Hold on. For you, that was a nanosecond. For me, that was a 5-minute mini mystery hunt. I presume, using my Wet n Wild SpongeBob Collection Mrs. Puff Powder Puff. And we're going to get some heavy blur going on here. And I must admit that at this moment, I feel very Fester Adams-y. And I know exactly why. It's because we have a lot of color happening here. And I've covered my eyebrows with foundation. And even though I do have full enough eyebrows that you could still see I had them, someone who has thinner eyebrows, this is the part where they might start to panic if they really do not like not having their brows be visible. Because I don't like not having my brows be, even if I don't have other makeup on, sometimes I will still, and by sometimes I mean like 2 to 3 times a week, at my factory job, I will still put on brow pencil. Because I have big eyes, I have a bigger nose, I have big features. So when my eyebrows are hidden, it just doesn't flatter my face. I have the only mascara I currently have left is the Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerize. And I believe this is in the color, it's their black, but you know, they always have Dagger Black. They always got fancy names for black. So Shu Emuru Eyelash Curler. This is one that has This is the one that has the curved wand. And I don't think it's terrible. I normally wouldn't put anything that wasn't a waterproof liner on my lower lashes. I just don't have it at the moment. But we're just going to stick our fingers right underneath that and give a few blinks. That way you get that excess off. And now, you needn't look so pale. I was so excited. I've been hunting for months to find a lavender lilac blush. Because purple, lavender, or lilac blushes are so gorgeous. Like, tell me that's not the perfect. It's like it gives you color to your cheeks without being like Kardashian. I really think that they overdo their blush by a lot. But I don't know, maybe that's what other people like. Do want a little more over here. I have another glossy version of that color, but it just seems like they're going to clash too much. You could just go nude lip here, but I want intensity. I have the Givenchy Lip Baulm, number 10. Maybe? Contender. Or do we want to go red, but maybe not? Maybe more blood red. Is that going to clash too much? What do you think? Told you we're going off of vibes here. What we're going to do is go in with the Lawless Definer Liner in Rosewood. And if you are under the impression, AFCA, you seem to be using that color a lot, you're correct. I only have 2 lip liners. I have just this nude one from Revlon, and the rosewood. Those are the only two I have. So, and I do think that I'm gonna go with this. Anyway, I guess we could try both. What do we think? Did we like it better with the Givenchy La Rouge Balm number 10? Or did we like it more with the cherry red? I don't remember the name of the brand because it's not written anywhere on the bottle, although is that not gorgeous? Where did the other one go? I've actually become quite fond of these. I used to think they were a little too childish and bulky when I first got them, but I've really grown attached to them. And I think having those there helps balance the red lip if you were to go for that option. So you can tell me which mystery version you like more in the comments down below, or tell me what colors you think of when you think of mystery. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, my lovely humans. It's a very noir, film noir sky, isn't it though? What is that? Oh, it's my candle. I saw this and I was like, what are those? Oh, it's my candles in the background. But yeah.